At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Welcome in. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla on the air until 3 Eastern today, hanging out with you. If you want to join the show, you can call or text us at 310-840-4910. All right, Abdalla, it's a Monday, and we are set for the NBA Finals to tip off on Wednesday night. The Spurs, they won Game 7 over the Thunder on Saturday night, 111-103. We have the New York Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs. This is a great matchup for the NBA Finals.
Yeah, it's nostalgic. if you're our age or older, we're going back to the late 90s. We're going back to the early 2000s. It is Spurs. It is Knicks. It is a rematch of 1999.
Yep.
So, yeah, this feels what is old is new again. Everything is cyclical. And Victor Wembanyama, Western Conference Finals MVP, extremely emotional after that win, has his eyes set on his first NBA Finals championship and on a first NBA championship, and he could win Finals MVP. And at such a young age to accomplish this much and to already dethrone what we thought could be the next dynasty in the Oklahoma City Thunder, to already take them out. And this could be another back and forth between the Thunder and the Spurs for years to come. But to be such a young team and talk about the lack of experience and how that would be the thing that does them in, it didn't matter. Game 7 on the road, that team, the entire team, it wasn't just Wembanyama. It was everybody. That entire Spurs team showed up in the moment when it mattered most on the road, and they got the job done, and now they're going to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, we can break down Game 7 and what we saw. I think there's so many different layers to how the game played out. Obviously, Spurs move on, so Knicks, Spurs for the Finals. You're right. It's a bit nostalgic. It's also kind of cool. The Knicks haven't won a championship in forever, where San Antonio, they've had success throughout the last couple of decades. So to see them back together in this spot, I will say the one thing that the Spurs, it's not like the same old song and dance, though. Mm-hmm. This is a young group of players that it's fun to kind of watch, to root for, to see. And I think that's where, with the Thunder and the Thunder losing, this is why I often mention that you are not a true dynasty until you defend your title. And people want to label things and talk about this and suggest that and to promote stuff before it happens. The dynasty talk is crazy. The Thunder are not a dynasty. They won one championship. And we've now, what is this, 7 straight years in the NBA that we'll have a different champion? Like, the NBA has now entered this era of somewhat parity where it's not anyone can win a championship, but we don't have those dynastic runs of the previous 40 years of basketball that we used to see. Mm-hmm. And it is tough and it is challenging. And it's especially challenging when only your best player shows up for a Game 7. And you have a all-star, an all-pro, all-NBA player in Chet Holmgren who's an absolute nothing on the floor.
Dude.
I mean, the fact that Chet Holmgren on Saturday night in 33 minutes had 4 points, 2 field goal attempts. He went 1 of 2 from the field. He didn't attempt a 3. He got 4 foul shots, 4 rebounds, and that's it. Chet Holmgren, an absolute nothing. That's the type of performance that's going to stick with him, because when you look at the Thunder and the future of the team, and there have been light rumors and rumblings about, do they trade one of those players, and it won't be SGA. It would be either Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren. Boy, I don't see how building with Chet Holmgren going forward is realistic. Now, I do think that I don't think Sam Presti is going to rip apart this team here in this offseason, but what an embarrassing effort from Holmgren in Game 7.
Yeah, I mean, I think it wasn't just Game 7. I mean, I think it was the whole series. He didn't
play well in this series, but the 4 points, 1 of 2 from the,
of course,
only attempting 2 shots in a Game 7, that is atrocious.
You want your best players to go down swinging, right? You want your best players to go down, in this case, putting up shots. If you're going to lose like that, at least go 0 for 10, 0 for 12. Like, put up shots, man.
Hey, man, for all the flopping and the complaining that we do about SGA, he showed up.
Yeah.
SGA was ready for Game 7.
Exactly.
And he played great
and that's
in
my
Game
point.
7.
Like, if you're going to have that kind of a bad game, to me, and you and I have joked about this before, Chet Holmgren, and you and I, we've said this before about players, Chet Holmgren was out there just getting his steps in. He just had the pedometer on, and he just had his Fitbit on, and he was just out there, just mall walking, getting his steps in at that point in Game 7. Because what are you doing? How do you redeem Games 1 through 6? You show up with an epic Game 7, and we talk about, and we're in here today on Monday saying Chet Holmgren saved the series. And Chet Holmgren's the reason that they're in the NBA Finals because SGA and Chet Holmgren, their 2 stars, showed up because Jalen Williams was out and couldn't play. And so Chet Holmgren and SGA showed up, and that's why the Thunder are trying to become back-to-back champions, something we haven't seen in the years that you've mentioned, right? And they can start a dynasty. And now they don't have an opportunity to do that because the Wemby and the Spurs got the best of them. Because you've got a team that is one of the youngest teams in the league is about to start. They could be starting their run. And yeah, they got to win back-to-back first to start a dynasty, sure. But as good as they are and as young as they are, I don't see how, like, when you have the best player in the NBA on your team and you've got guys that are showing up like Castle and Harper and all these guys that are playing really well at such a young age, I find it very hard to believe that someone can argue that they can't continue a run like this. Like, this is just a pop-up, you know?
We don't know. But the way the Thunder conversation, I think, is one layer to this. Also, you mentioned the Spurs and the output that they had. I think it was 7 players in double figures in Game 7. Wemby from the start controlled the tempo of the game, controlled the game. And we discussed it on Friday going into the weekend. If Wemby hits a couple threes early, it's like everything starts to click for the Spurs offense. And I think that's where, San Antonio getting to the finals, I think this matchup is great because I don't think that this is just a guaranteed finals win for the Spurs. I think the Knicks can play with the Spurs. And I think there's a lot of different elements to this matchup to suggesting that maybe San Antonio, although best in the West, I don't know if it's a guarantee that they can beat the Knicks because of this. The Spurs come at you with all kinds of different options, but who's their true go-to guy? In the fourth quarter, when SGA was hitting buckets and trying to pull the rest of the Thunder with him in the fourth quarter to keep it close, it was De'Aaron Fox who was responding and getting buckets. Can Fox do that at the end of a game under 5 minutes in a tight ball game against the Knicks when you know Jalen Brunson is going to be able to get buckets for the New York Knicks? The Knicks, that is the one thing the Knicks don't have to worry about. They don't have to worry about if final 2 minutes, who are we going to? How is he going to create his own shot? And will he be able to score? We know the answer to all that. It's Jalen Brunson. It's Jalen Brunson. And yes, it's Brunson can create, he can get his own shot, and he will make it. Right? Like, that's the one thing in this series that I think is really fascinating. Because if these games are close, we have really yet to see the Spurs get tested where it's one possession, bucket, timeout, other end. Possession, bucket, timeout, other end with like less than a minute. It's very few opportunities we've seen that here in the playoffs. A lot of the games the Spurs have won have been 10 to 15-point wins. Right? And sure, you could make the argument, well, they're so good, they don't have to worry about it. I don't know. Do you think the Spurs have a true, what's their go-to possession to get a bucket? I don't know. It's not Wemby. No. Wemby would have to play off of someone. So is it De'Aaron Fox creating? Is it Stephon Castle running a pick and roll with Wemby? I just that's where I think this series is really fascinating. Because I think the Knicks have the edge in some of those categories.
I agree with you.
Now there's also, as we're looking at the NBA Finals, something else I would throw out there. We saw what Wembanyama did to Chet Holmgren. What if he does that to Karl Anthony Towns?
Wow.
Right? Because it is possible that Wemby could have that same effect on Karl Anthony, and if that's the case, okay, then you swing back some of the thoughts towards, all right, the Spurs will handle their business in this series.
See, that's my thought. The Knicks don't have somebody that's going to be able to draw anybody inside to be like, okay, well, we've got to take the attention away so Brunson can create by himself. Like, Brunson's going to have somebody, one, if not two guys glued to him. because you don't have because Wemby's going to be able to take care of Karl Anthony Towns, right? So whoever is on Brunson is going to be fine. Whoever's guarding Brunson, they're a good defensive team. The Spurs are a good enough defensive team.
I'm guessing it'll be Stephon Castle because the way he was D'ing up SGA throughout that series. I mean, SGA had moments where he was scoring.
Okay.
But I think Castle and his ability, because he's a thicker, tougher bodied guy, individual defensively, I don't know. But Brunson has that ability to find his spot and to get his shot off against anybody.
I understand that. I just don't think that you're dealing with a team that, look, the Hawks weren't great. We get that. The Hawks weren't very good. And I think that when you get into a series against the Cavs, the way we saw the Knicks, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the Knicks. The Knicks have gone on a tremendous run. They've got the biggest average point differential in NBA history. They put up insane numbers. They've won 11 games in a row. That's a crazy number to win in not even a gentleman's sweep we're talking about here. Like, they swept the Cavs. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. The Cavs gave up after game one is what it looked like.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
They didn't even show up for game 4 at home. I can understand on the road. At home, they didn't show up for game 4. So let's call it what it is. The Knicks have had somewhat, and I like the Knicks. I've been talking up the Knicks as a team that has a chance to win the NBA Finals no matter who they face, whether it was the Spurs or the Thunder. I just think that comparatively to the Spurs or the Thunder, comparatively, they've had a much easier chance getting here and a much easier way getting to this place than the Spurs have, obviously. Now, going 7 games, being in a physical series night in and night out has taken its toll on the Spurs. And I think having 7 days off and having a full week of rest is going to help the Knicks. They might come out a little bit rusty in game 1, but we saw what happened in game 1 against the Cavs. They came out rusty, and then what happened? They scored a bunch of points, and they ended up coming back and beating them, and that's what broke the Cavs, and they couldn't recover, and they ended up sweeping them after that comeback, and that's what ended the Cavs. So you've got a guy in Harden who notoriously doesn't show up in the playoffs, who they traded for, and it's like, all right, that's what you're going to do. Remember, he doesn't show up in the playoffs, and that's what you're trading for. You're trading for a guy that you want in the playoffs who doesn't show up for in the playoffs, and that's what they got, a guy who didn't show up in the playoffs. And so, yes, the Knicks are a great team. They got to this point. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but I do feel like this is a different team that we're dealing with the Spurs. This is a great team. This is a team that it could be a closer series. I'm not saying that the Spurs are going to sweep or it's going to be Spurs in 5, but I do think that they are much better than what the Knicks are going to bring.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. You look at some of the matchups and you look at the starting 5 for the Knicks. Did the Spurs at some point in the series have Wembanyama guard Josh Hart? Kind of like the way that they had Wemby guarding Alex Caruso, and kind of dare Josh Hart to beat them from 3 and just have Wemby be a floater on defense, because that really changed the tone of Oklahoma City's series. You know, the Thunder, for the most part, in the games that Caruso played well, they won. In the games that Caruso didn't play well, they lost those games. Now, the difference is Caruso in the regular season was a 29% three-point shooter. Josh Hart is a 41% three-point shooter. So I don't know if that's the same gamble that the Spurs would be willing to take. I think Karl Anthony Towns, we'll see. I think he's a bit tougher, which is a funny phrase to say because I'm not sure if anyone really thinks Karl Anthony Towns is tougher than other players. But he's certainly tougher than the Mr. Faux Hawk, Chet Holmgren, and his fashion ideas in his commercials that we've seen. I mean, and so you know that Karl Anthony Towns should do something, but will Wemby, limit the offensive ability from Karl Anthony, especially if the Knicks are going to use Cat in the high post to pass, and if Wemby is guarding him? I think that's fascinating. I think also we'll have to see day-to-day with Mitchell Robinson whether or not he is ready to go in this series and what type of impact he'll have defensively which we saw Hartenstein was very impactful for the Thunder against Wembanyama. So I just think like the NBA won already. Like this is a fantastic series matchup before we even get to the games on Wednesday. You know, this is exactly what the league would hope for, right? The New York market. It's also Madison Square Garden. That place will be electric. It's next Monday will be game 3. So, I mean, you have that aspect. You have the Knicks who haven't won in a long time. And then you have Victor Wembanyama, who the NBA is hoping and praying will become the next superstar champion, legacy-chasing player the league can build off of for the next 15 years.
Oh, man.
Like, he is the guy. That's exactly what they want. We've talked about it here on the show throughout this playoff run. It's felt like they've given Wemby a break in certain situations, and they get their guy in the finals. So it is a great setup for the NBA Finals starting Wednesday.
Listen, man, they're going to be burning baguettes in the streets in New York for the next few days. Just wait.
Just throwing them in the trash.
Throwing them like
we're not eating a French baguette this time.
They're going to be shutting down all of the French pastry stores, the French bistros. Whatever. If you got a French restaurant, I'm sorry. You gotta shut your doors for the next week or so.
They're boarding up like there's a hurricane coming to town.
Boarding up, bro. You better start serving Italian.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can call or text the show at 310-840-4910. You know, it's June 1st. We've been told the entire NFL offseason that A.J. Brown would be traded on June 1st. Will he be traded today? We'll talk about that coming up next. The final round of the basketball season is here, and the DraftKings Sports app is now available in all 50 states.
Sweat every possession of the series all in one place with one app. If you're new to DraftKings, customers can sign up with code B&A26 and spend $5 and get $200 in rewards within 21 days.
That's code B&A26 for Bleck and Abdalla 26. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, bet tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, void in Ontario. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involve risk of loss. Sportsbook's bonus bets expire in 7 days. $50 in predictions dollars issued weekly for 3 weeks, expire in 1 year. Redeem one non-withdrawable reward. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends June 28th. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
It's summertime. While you're road tripping, pool dipping, and laid back sipping, stay on top of the sports headlines you care about. Download the Westwood One Sports app and listen to us wherever you are. Cannonball! Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
It's June 1st. Let's go. Come on, Eagles. I thought it was going to be the Patriots.
I think it's more come on Patriots, isn't it?
Weren't we told that an A.J. Brown trade would be made today? Today would be today.
It's come on Patriots, isn't it?
A.J. Brown would be traded today. That's what we were told. June 1st. It's here.
Yeah.
Summer's here.
Mm-hmm.
We're 100 days away from the start of the NFL season.
Oh,
Let's
is it
go.
today?
Today's today.
100 days?
100 days.
100 days?
The countdown is on.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that, in the reports from The Athletic, 2 months ago, were that A.J. Brown would be traded on June 1st.
Yeah.
And that there were discussions being had between the Patriots and the Eagles. I have yet to see anything come across yet. What are we waiting for? Is this going to happen? Are the Patriots going to give up a first-round draft pick for A.J. Brown? We talked about this last week. I wouldn't give up a first-round draft pick for A.J. Brown. I don't think I would be of the camp of using a first-round draft pick in the future to then draft the next number one receiver for my team.
I think that there might be a certain reporter with inside information that might be not working.
What do you mean?
She's not employed.
Oh, you're going to go with the Diana Rossini angle?
I'm just saying she's got information.
She was the one that reported that A.J. Brown would be traded on June 1st.
I'm just saying credit where credit is due.
Yeah. No, she did, but nothing
I'm
has
just giving
happened.
credit where credit is due.
Mike Vrabel and Diana.
And I just wanted to hear the sounder again.
It's been quiet.
That's all. I just wanted to hear it. Dust it off.
It's easy. Easy what you're blowing on.
Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini.
I mean, that was the report, but she wasn't the only one positioning
she wasn't.
The angle that the Patriots and the Eagles were talking about A.J. Brown.
Yeah, anybody could put those two together. You know, A.J. Brown was a Titan before with Mike Vrabel, and the connection is there. And they need a wide receiver. Look at their wide receivers. It's not great. They don't have a good wide receiver room. So one could say, hey, and you're right. I would also not give up a 2027 first round pick.
Yeah, exactly.
This was a different conversation 5-6 weeks ago entering the draft in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
This was a different conversation when New England had the 31st pick in the draft. And you could say, hey, with the 31st pick in the 2026 NFL draft, you trade it to the Eagles, and the Eagles are drafting whatever, and you get A.J. Brown because this draft is meh. And it just is.
This draft is meh.
It just is. And a late first round pick is like a late second round math, whatever. You want to do that, that's fine.
What?
It's not as valuable.
Get the chart out.
I'm not getting the chart out because you have to do the chart for this year versus next year. It's not as good, is what we're saying.
Whip your chart out.
Easy.
We got to get the chart, guys. We need the chart.
What?
It's not
Raj,
as good.
We need the chart.
The chart isn't as good.
Yes.
There's a different chart, Raj, for 2026 as there is for 2027's draft. It's a
Are
different
you
chart.
saying we needed to handicap the 2026 chart compared to the 2027 chart?
That's a Jimmy Johnson question. That's not
Reduction
a question
of 10%
for me.
per pick?
It's not a question for me.
Jimmy Johnson can't be reached at this time. He's on a boat somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean.
Good for him.
I have the chart up on my computer.
Good for him.
The
By
hair
the way,
still
Bleck
looks
thought
good.
the chart was something else
He's
when he
got
saw
a
it on my
flowery
computer.
shirt on too.
Yeah, the hair looks great.
Oh, man.
It's fantastic. Absolutely.
He's got a rod in the water, if you'll pardon the expression.
Easy.
The large male.
Easy. What are we doing? This is a sports
What
show.
are we doing here?
We're not talking about fishing today.
He's
Mike
deep
Vrabel
sea
and
fishing,
Diana
man.
Rossini.
Deep sea fishing.
Yes, he is. I mean, I whenever we see him on TV when he's not on the Fox desk, it is always in the like Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
The hair's flowing in the wind. He's on a boat. You can see the water in the background.
Living life.
I mean, when you win a college championship and Super Bowls, you can do that. All-time great, Jimmy Johnson. How about that?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So I think it's inevitable, but I think it's all a negotiation tactic, right? Like the Patriots don't want to give up a first-round pick. The Eagles want a first-round pick. The Rams reportedly were involved a while ago, but then the money kicked in for Devontae Adams, so now they're no longer involved. The Chiefs were involved a while ago, but they're cash-strapped too, so they're probably no longer involved either. So now, look, the longer this goes on, the more time it means that another team can get involved. Any team can get involved. So if you're the Patriots, you have to start wheeling and dealing now because the Eagles, worst case scenario, A.J. Brown's still on the team and he's a 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like worst case scenario, they've got a good wide receiver on their team.
Yep.
So I don't think it's that big of a deal for them if A.J. Brown is still on the team. Now, for the makeup of the locker room, you could say once all this information is out there that they've been looking to move on from him and all the articles about the relationship between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and how he didn't invite, the godfather of his kids to his wedding and all that kind of stuff is out there.
Strange.
Now that that's all out there, I don't
Something's going on.
I don't know if you can come back from that. And now he's not at all the OTAs and that kind of stuff. Now that that's all out there with A.J. Brown, that might be difficult to come back from. But the fact of the matter is, if he's on the team when the season starts, the Eagles have always said A.J. Brown's an Eagle until he's not.
Yes, and to be fair, Philadelphia sports fans in the last couple of months, they've been through enough. You have the Sixers get swept by the Knicks.
I mean,
they're crying that their team.
I love Joel and I hope he stays.
Oh, man.
I love the whole team.
Oh,
They
no.
did amazing. But
They
it's
did
just
amazing.
heartbreaking.
Yes, heartbreaking.
It really is.
Yes, she loves Joel, and they got swept, and the poor fan crying after the game, after the Knicks swept, and even young and old fired up over the Sixers losing to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Right?
Tell the team, fire Nick Nurse, everybody gone. Like Kyle Lowry, coach.
What do you think that young man? What do you think that young whippersnapper
Brown?
would do about AJ Brown?
Yeah,
that young
no.
Tell the team, fire
whippersnapper.
Nick Nurse, everybody gone.
Everyone gone.
Everyone gone.
Gone.
I love Joel.
At least they
and I
weren't
hope
crying,
he stays.
right?
I love the whole team. They did amazing, but it's just heartbreaking.
I love AJ Brown.
It really is.
They're amazing.
I love AJ Brown.
Amazing. They did amazing.
They did amazing.
They did amazing.
They did amazing. You just left you lost in the playoffs. You got swept, but they did amazing.
I love AJ Brown.
Boy, whoever thought the fan base throwing batteries at Santa Claus? They're now the ones weeping in the stadium on their way out.
Well, listen.
That's something. Life comes at you fast.
It
kids.
does.
So okay, let me ask you this. It technically is breaking news, but if you're a has-been great player,
Wow.
is it something that people really care about? Well, I feel like this is more news and notes, NFL news and notes, than it is breaking news. So I'm going to go news and notes sounder here for you, Abdalla. I don't want to alert people that there's like real earth-shattering breaking news taking place at this moment. But news and notes, the Giants are bringing back wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh.
That's right. At 33, this is from Ian Rappaport, the NFL Network. At 33, he recently worked out again with the team, and they are now signing Odell Beckham Jr. to be their fourth wide receiver?
Man.
And a distraction?
Man,
Why is this? This makes no sense to me.
Your team, huh?
Your
Harbaugh's really getting it
First of all,
done there.
when you say your team, they are not my team.
Harbaugh's your coach.
I'm a Chicago Bears fan.
Yeah, and Harbaugh, New York Giants fan.
No, I think it was a good fit. That's the opinion on Harbaugh.
Yep.
Is that I am not taking ownership of that team.
All I know is
Of the
that,
football Giants.
Mike McCarthy's not bringing back the retread wide receivers to try to get things done.
Easy. So at some point, Randall Cobb might be in the
Is
future
he?
for the Steelers.
Is he? Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
At some point.
He's not rolling the Blues
At some
Brothers
point-
mobile around
some
trying
point,
to bring
Jordy Nelson will be
old
a wide
relics.
receiver for the Steelers.
They
yeah.
already tried that with Aaron Rodgers. It didn't work.
Okay, so that to me is a bit news and notesy, right? Like news was that really worthy of the breaking news sounder?
No.
Yeah, right? Also, Russell Wilson will be heading to CBS this fall. He will be a part of the NFL Today on CBS. He will not be playing football. Russell Wilson. Again, I don't know if it's necessarily breaking news, but news and notes. Russell Wilson will be on CBS because that's what America wants, to hear from Russell Wilson.
I can't imagine. Listen, I can't imagine.
Yeah?
I don't want to besmirch the man before he's actually put on the suit, but I can't imagine that that's going to be good.
You just want to smirch?
I don't want to be smirch. I just want to smirch. I can't. Is he reading from a prompter? Like, what are we?
He's going to sit on the desk.
And what?
Next to Nate Burleson. You're going to have football speaks. You're going to put him on the board. He's going to draw up plays.
Okay, I could see him if he was doing one-on-one interviews with players, like doing the features.
Why?
Maybe that might be good. I'm just trying to find work for the man.
Wait, why? Look at it from this angle. What football fan wants to hear from Russell Wilson? Is there a quarterback in the last 20 years who comes across as a bigger phony than him?
No.
Like, people don't care. Like, Matt Ryan. Yeah, I'll listen to Matt Ryan.
I'd love to listen to Matt Ryan.
You know who I want to see on the NFL TV shows the moment he decides he doesn't want to play football anymore? Jameis Winston.
That dude.
Jameis would be great.
Oh, man.
Right?
This
Like,
weekend,
wouldn't that be great?
This weekend. I don't know, man.
Wouldn't Jameis be fantastic?
After this weekend.
Wouldn't Jameis be the
I don't know
man?
if you want him near a live mic.
What's up?
I don't know if you want Jameis near a live mic.
I think we
after this
do.
weekend.
I think that's what we want. I want Jameis. Get Jameis on the
I
desk.
think Jameis needs.
He can still play, but
I
still.
think Jameis needs pre-record options only.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
They have to run that past editors.
Yeah, Jameis needs a scrub first. I think you're gonna get Jameis on the World Cup coverage, aren't you?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, I
okay.
saw that.
That's
yes.
what people want.
Yo, I think people want that more than Russell Wilson.
I think so too.
I don't think anyone's asking for Russell Wilson.
Mr.
Mr. Unlimited. Yeah, no one. You and your spicy sub.
Oh, you know they're gonna turn that into a segment.
Spicy sub?
No, the unlimited. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Like you know how you got mossed.
Yes.
Like they're gonna turn
yes.
unlimited into something.
Hand out the most unlimited player of the week, and he's just sit there on the desk and go unlimited, and then hand out a little trophy. He'll set a little trophy on the desk and say, "Here you go. You're Mr. Unlimited for the week. Cam Scatabo, you're the guy."
Scatabo speaks in gibberish because he's got his head.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
I'm just saying. I don't think. Again, I don't. It is technically breaking news because it just happened, but I don't think it was breaking news sounder worthy. I think it was more NFL news and notes sounder worthy.
Yeah, that's not break. I don't think so because when you're right. When you're fourth on the and they're like, he's not gonna make the team, right? Like,
I mean, I'm guessing he will, but he's going to be a fourth string wide receiver, right? He's not going to be your one, not your two. He can't play anymore.
No.
If anything, he's just going to be a distraction.
Yeah.
So that's the latest news. Odell Beckham Jr. is signing with the Giants.
Well, I think if that team needs anything, it's a distraction from what's currently
No,
going on that
think
team.
I think
No.
I think it was smart to have everyone speak on Friday.
I think it was
Jackson
good.
Dart, Abdul Carter, they all spoke. I thought that was the way to handle this.
I agree too, and I also think it was good to do something to go look over here.
I don't
Odell
think
Beckham Jr.
I think once you have the individual speak,
Yeah.
it lays to rest a little bit of the conversation bubbling up about it because they all gave their opinion. All right. There it is.
I agree.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Were the Thunder a failure this season? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander mentioned that after the game. We'll talk about that coming up next.
The NBA Finals are set. It's a 1999 rematch. Knicks, Spurs. Will New York win its first title in 53 years? Or will San Antonio continue its championship legacy? Now with Wemby leading the way. Game 1 tips Wednesday night. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
The Spurs win Game 7 on Saturday night to head to the NBA Finals. The New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs will face off in the NBA Finals starting on Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern, live from San Antonio. And the Thunder, they were the best team in the regular season. They were the number 1 seed. And they kind of just walked their way into the Western Conference Finals. They had an easy go at the start of the playoffs. And we have a texter from the 541 that texted us at 310-840-4910. The Thunder had a pretty easy route in round 1 and 2. And yeah, I mean, heck, going back to last season, like they won 9 straight playoff games to start the playoffs. So when you look at the Thunder, I think there's context to this question that will be asked and in the topic on whether or not this season was a failure for the Thunder. Large context, I think it was, right? Like you didn't repeat. You won the championship last year. The end goal is to win a championship. Let's listen to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander after Game 7 talk about that.
It was a failure. Like I failed at my goal. Like I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. But through my experiences, I learned the most about myself, and I make the the greatest amount of increases I have in my career when I fail at my goal and don't get what I want. And I look at this no different. I didn't get where I wanted to go this season. There's a reason for that. Now I have to look at that reason and try to make sure it never happens again.
So there's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander after Game 7. It was a failure. I honestly don't know how you could look at it in any other aspect than saying it was a failure.
I think when you look at the context of how much they were favored by to win the NBA Finals entering the playoffs, when a team, according to the odds, is a minus favorite, right? Like usually entering a playoffs, right? So right now, like look at in the context of the NFL.
Yeah.
The Rams are the favorite at 8-1.
Yep.
8-1. So if you were to bet $100 on DraftKings, code BNDay26.
Shout out.
You'd win $800 if the Rams were to win the Super Bowl. Entering the playoffs, they were like minus 150, 160. That's unheard of. To be a favorite, to be a minus favorite. Meaning, like, if you put down $100, you'd only get back, like, you win less money. You'd only get back, like, $50. You'd get your 100 back, but then you'd only get back $50. You'd get back less money than you put up. So that's unheard of in a field to win a championship. Like, that's usually like a regular game bet sometimes. Not to win a championship in a field on a futures bet. So, yeah, in a terms of like a Vegas future, yeah, it's a failure when you're that much of a favorite to win something.
Okay, but also as a competitor, this isn't participation trophies.
Yeah,
the objective in professional sports from a player, from the coaches, and we hope from the organizations, although it seems like more and more as investment groups purchase these teams, that they're less interested in actually winning and more interested in just making money. The goal should always be to win a championship.
Yeah.
Now, if you take a young team, say if the Charlotte Hornets had no chance to get to the finals, but if the Charlotte Hornets were able to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and then lose to, say, the Knicks, then I could understand building block. This is a great step forward. And it's okay. We didn't win the finals. We didn't win a championship. So you could technically say it's a failure of a season, but you took a major step forward. The Spurs this year have taken a major step forward.
Either of these teams could lose the finals, and you could say it's not a failure.
Yeah,
Either of these
I
teams,
think that's fair.
The Spurs could have lost Game 7. You could say it's not a failure.
But with the Thunder, it does feel like their moment to rule the league is slipping through their hands. Right? Like, because I think the way people are going to look at this is that if Wemby gets one, he now will control the West for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, we were also having those conversations last June about the Thunder. And time will tell, right? Like, it's possible that this is the apex of the Spurs with Wemby. I don't think it's likely. But we don't know the answer. We don't know the answer with the Thunder. I think it's once you establish a level of expectation, anything short of that is a failure. So once you become a championship level team, the only option to not be a failure for the year is to win a championship.
I think that when you look at it from that perspective of the way that we started the hour of saying the Spurs changed the way the Thunder played in Game 7. Like, specifically Chet Holmgren. Like, they broke Chet Holmgren. And if this is how Chet Holmgren's going to be remembered, and let's say they do have to split up the team, and Jalen Williams is gone, or Chet Holmgren's gone, like, this is going to be a different Thunder team. If they release the odds, as soon as this finals is over and they release the odds, the Spurs might be the favorites to win next year. The Thunder still might be the favorites to win next year until they make some of these moves. We'll see. But the point is that this might be, as young as this team is, this isn't like, oh, the Warriors won and they're all a bunch of old dudes at the end of their career, or this is like the end of their peak, right? This is the start of the Spurs. So this might be, the Thunder got one, but the Spurs were right there. And SGA might know watching this team, and he might have been watching, this is going to be a back and forth for the rest of his career between the Spurs and the Thunder. And if they don't improve the team somehow by having Chet leave and then improving the team somehow, that Victor Wembanyama is going to win MVP next year or something like that, and then continue to dominate the league, assuming he stays healthy. And this could be, again, we said the same thing about the Thunder. They could be the next dynasty.
Yeah.
They couldn't do it. Same with the Spurs. They could be the next dynasty until they don't do it. He could be. Victor Wembanyama could be the next Jordan until he's not. You know what I mean? Like, you could say a lot of things. Like, anything can happen. He could win 1. He could win 7. You don't know. So a lot of these things could happen. But again, when you look at it from the context of, did the Spurs fail? Yeah, they did, considering how much of a favorite they were to go out and do the things that they were supposed to do this year. Like, they were on pace to set a record number of wins this year too. Like, they were winning a bunch of games at the beginning of the season too. They obviously didn't do that.
Well, that's why the stat that was pointed out is that this is the first time since the late 90s that two teams faced off in a playoff series or finals that won 60-plus games each.
Exactly.
It doesn't happen often. You can call the show at 310-840-4910. Ray in Chicago, you're on with Bleck Abdalla. What's up, Ray?
Hey, happy Monday, gentlemen. How you guys doing today?
Happy Monday. What's up, man?
Yeah, I was going to call in. I was trying to get in Friday to you guys. I wanted to talk about this before the game, but here's my take. I mean, both teams, OKC and San Antonio, they're going to be good for the next decade. I think it's fair to say before this playoffs came through, in another year or two, you figure OKC is going to have to move maybe Chet or Williams. Since Williams didn't play, you thought, okay, they could get rid of him because it's easier to maybe get a wing than it is a big. After this series, Chet's got to go. They saw enough. There wasn't one quote unquote Chet game in a good way throughout the playoffs, and he clearly showed he's intimidated by Wemby. And I think now Presti, who's the GOAT, is going to already figure this out. He's going to have to move Chet, and there's already talks about them trying to trade up to get the number 1 pick in this draft. And I'm just saying they could give up their draft picks and Chet to Washington. And maybe, I know Washington saw Chet play too, but maybe they say, okay, and they just start there. Presti, I trust Presti. If it's the next 10 years, I'll ask you both. Would you rather have San Antonio with Wemby, and if he gets injured, whatever, or you got OKC with Sam Presti building your team? So I'll let you guys go. Have a great week. Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. That's a fantastic question. So let's talk about that. Who would you rather have in the future? The Thunder with Presti or Wemby and the Spurs? We'll talk about that coming up next. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, hanging out with you.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, hanging out with you until 3 Eastern. You can always call or text the show at 310-840-4910. We've been talking about the Spurs advancing to the NBA Finals. They will face off against the New York Knicks on Wednesday night, 8 Eastern for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We were just talking about the Spurs and the Thunder and that series, and we had a caller, Ray in Chicago, ask us, who would we rather have for the next 10 years? Sam Presti and the Thunder or Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs? You're going out in the future. You're predicting out to what's going to take place. Who would you rather have? The one player in the team in the San Antonio Spurs? Like, I'm guessing if it's which one would you rather have? you have to also, like, do you take into consideration the front office for the Spurs? Because they do great work too.
Yeah, I mean, look at what the Spurs have. I mean, the Spurs have all that history of putting together a great organization. Like, the Spurs aren't just Wemby and a bunch of dudes. Like, they're not just Wemby and a bunch of scrubs either. Like, the entire organization is producing.
Right. So, I mean, I understand the question, like, who do you trust more in the next 10 years to be more successful? Wembanyama by himself or Sam Presti? Because Sam Presti has won a championship, and he's rebuilt the Thunder twice now with legitimate superstars.
Yeah.
You know, you had the first run where they came short of winning a championship with Durant and Harden and Westbrook, and then to flip a roster, to trade those pieces, and then to get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren to win a title. He is the best GM in the NBA. I don't think that's much of a question. I think he is absolutely what they would say like a hit maker when it comes to the NBA, right? Like, that's what Sam Presti is.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're comparing the two organizations, don't you have to go with the Spurs if you get everyone in the organization? But if it's only one player or the GM, don't you go with the GM because there is no guarantee on health of the player?
If you're asking me the Spurs or the Thunder, I'm going with the Spurs.
Right. But the question that was posed to us on the phone lines at 310-840-4910 was Sam Presti in the Thunder or Victor Wembanyama in the Spurs. So, like, if we just remove the teams.
But he said Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs.
Sam Presti or Wemby. Because I agree with you. If you look at the organization as a whole, you go Spurs. Because they are a great organization also with Wembanyama.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, okay, I understand that Sam Presti is great. And I'm not trying to diminish what Sam Presti has done. But, like, if you're looking at, like, the monkey's paw, he's already gotten 2 fingers down. You know what I mean? Like,
looking at the what?
The monkey. Like, you know, like when you, like, I'm talking about the Simpsons episode where, like, he's curled, like, the 2 fingers already. Like he's got, like, are you sure he's going to
Explain the reference to people.
Like, well, it's not a Simpsons reference. It's like an old, he's already used his 2 wishes. Like, are you sure he's going to be able to do this again? Like, are we certain that, like, if you have to start from scratch with Sam Presti again, are you certain that he is going to do this again? Like, if you just rolled the ball out to Sam Presti and gave him, like, okay, here, let me give you an example. We broadcast out of the fine city of Chicago. If the Bulls announced today, I know they already have a president and a GM and all that kind of stuff, but if they didn't and they announced today that they had hired Sam Presti,
yes,
would you have faith that he could do it again?
Yeah, I would.
Or would you rather have Victor Wembanyama?
I would have faith that he could do it again. I would be more excited for the player.
That's okay. There's your answer. Your answer is Victor Wembanyama.
But a GM is not one player.
I understand that.
A GM is a whole team.
Yeah, and a boat's a boat. I get it. Yeah. I'd rather have Victor Wembanyama.
I'm talking basketball.
I understand that. Yeah. I'd rather have Victor Wembanyama, I think. I think I would rather risk it with the player, and I know that Ray said and the Spurs. So, yeah, you have to take into account where the player is playing, though. Like, you can't, because here's the thing, though. With Victor Wembanyama comes everything else. Players will eventually, like, if the money doesn't work out, these guys are all so young, okay?
Yeah.
Like, Castle's young, Harper's young. All these guys are so young. Eventually, the contracts won't work out, right? Like, eventually, all these guys are going to have to get paid. Will they start taking team-friendly deals to all stick together? Or will they all want to get theirs and have to branch off? Or will you start seeing other stars saying, hey, I want to start playing alongside Victor Wembanyama. I'm going to take these. Like, Victor Wembanyama is going to become the magnet that draws all towards him.
Wait,
so,
yes.
Having that, you're going to be able to build so much around this guy that, yeah, Sam Presti can try And I agree with you. He's the best. He's hands down the best at it. And I get it. What you got to do is you can't build a team around a super team, and you got to have depth. And look at the two teams that are in the NBA Finals right now. And even if it would have been the Thunder, it's still the same thing. Replace the Thunder with the Spurs. It's still the same composition of a team that was built together with depth and pieces. And look at the Knicks, depth pieces, all that kind of stuff. It's not super teams, right?
No, it's not. Which is refreshing.
Exactly. It's great.
I'm glad that era of basketball is done with.
100%.
Until we get to this summer when someone tries to lure Giannis to their team and
but you
LeBron.
could still do. But you could have both. Like you could have Giannis and Wemby and
LeBron
depth.
says,
like,
"Wait, what about me? I want to be a part of it.
I want to play with Victor Wembanyama.
I want to do that too."
I think that Wemby draws all of that. Like you can build around Wemby with depth. You can have another star play alongside with Victor Wembanyama. Like you can be a great GM and do all of that with Victor Wembanyama and also be Sam Presti and build. Like I don't think you can go wrong either way. I'm going to go with the known commodity, and I understand that Sam Presti is a known commodity, but he's building from scratch, and you never know.
I just feel
Wembanyama's a known commodity.
It just feels like the only thing you say known commodity. That's true. Although health factors into that decision. I mean, I don't
Telling me Sam Presti can't get the flu?
I was going to say something else, but like, it's not like he's going to get hit by a bus and then you know what I mean? Like Sam Presti's not going to be on the injury report.
Yeah, no,
he can still build a team.
Yeah, but he could draft the wrong guy though. That's his injury report.
Yeah, okay. All right.
He could
that's
swing
fair.
and miss.
All right, so text the show at 310-840-4910. Essentially, who would you rather have for the next 10 years? Victor Wembanyama or Sam Presti? Because I think it's the simple answer is Wemby, but are we considering the fact that big guys struggle to stay healthy?
But he's different. He's different, though. He's different.
I mean, you're right. He is different. I hope he's more like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes.
Where he gets to play 20-plus seasons and he's the all-time leading scorer when it's all said and done or whatever, whatever that is. So you can also call the show at 310-840-4910. Tommy in Michigan, you're on with Bleck and Abdalla. What's up, Tommy?
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up?
Hey, that's a tough question. When you talk about like Wemby, I get visions of, remember Greg Oden back in the day? He was supposed to be, oh my God, and he had all those ankle and foot problems.
Yep.
But I think this kid might be a little different. I would have to go with Wemby, but I want to say, though, I was talking about to your screener that
Roy.
what OKC they missed the window. They missed the window to go back to back. They didn't win. They didn't go back to back, and that's like the new thing in the NBA because you validate your first championship. It's almost like you have to go back to back if you want to become a great team, be considered a super team. The Pistons did it. The Lakers did it.
Yep.
Boston never did it with Larry Bird. And but to go back to back, you cement yourselves. And OKC failed to do that. So now they're bumming out. And I think Wemby's going to win it this year, and he's got a great chance to go back. If he goes back to back, bam, they stamped themselves as legit. That's what you got to do in the NBA. If you went back to back, you're in that elite league of teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Great call, Tommy. Call again, okay, my man? There he is, Tommy in Michigan. And I would say this. I don't want to dive into this topic again with you and start arguing about this, but to me, you are not a dynastic team. You're not a dynasty unless you go back to back because of how difficult that is. Right? There are great teams that win a couple of championships here and there, and I'm not knocking anything from that. But being a dynasty is different. And like Tommy was saying, you got to go back to back. You have to defend the title once, at least. And that is such a difficult ask. So, I mean, that's why I always think that, my rule for a dynasty is that you got to go back to back and you got to win more than two. And if you do that, you're a dynasty. Otherwise, like Tommy was saying, the Thunder, great championship last year. And we'll see how they bounce back next year. I'm guessing they'll be pretty good. I'm guessing they'll be either the first or the second seed in the Western Conference next season.
Yes. And look, for all of the building that Sam Presti has done, he's gotten close to a championship once, and he's won one championship. Victor Wembanyama has been in the league for how many years now?
3.
This is his third year?
Yeah.
Okay. And he could win his first championship in his third year. How long has Sam Presti been a GM? And he's got one championship.
Yeah. I mean, he's also built that team up from nothing twice.
But talk to fans about how long it takes to rebuild and get close and then fail and then knock it down and then rebuild and get close and fail and then knock it down. Like, to me, having the player that gets you there and gets you the championship, assuming he wins, like we're doing a lot of assuming here. And you know what happens? We make on the Bleck and Abdalla show, when you assume things, you make an ass out of Bleck.
Yep, thanks. Yep.
You just do.
Yep. It's
just what we do here.
How it's always gone.
It's just how it always is.
Yep.
And if Wemby wins his championship this year, then that's great. Him and Sam Presti are even. But like, as a Bulls fan, you and I are both Bulls fans, we haven't seen a championship since Jordan. I would take Wemby. Like, I want that player. I want what the Bulls have been chasing since Jordan.
I also, with the conversation of dynasties, I'm probably labeled as more of a conservative when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, because you don't think the Spurs are a dynasty.
I'm not handing out dynasties left and right.
Well,
right?
the only one that you have an issue with are the Spurs. Like,
it's not an issue. It's just it's not a dynasty.
It is. That's the one. That's the one.
I don't play loose and fast with my dynastic conversation.
The only one that you that is
I'm not just. This isn't a fast food drive-through, and I'm handing out dynasties out the window.
When we talk about this, the only one that you have an issue with, that you and I argue about, are the Spurs. The Spurs were a dynasty. They were. I'm sorry that they didn't win back-to-back championships. They were a dynasty.
But to Tommy's point, who just called the show from Michigan, he mentioned the 80s Celtics. And the 80s Celtics won 3 championships in 6 years. None of them were back-to-back.
Okay.
And so my other thought about dynasties is I don't feel comfortable saying there's more happening at once at the same time. I think you are either the team that's the dynasty in the league until you're unseated from that position at the top of the mountain. You're wearing the championship belt. You don't have 2 championship belts at once. You got 1. There's 1 team at the top. If you're a dynasty, you're the only team at the top. That's what, and to your point.
So 3 and 5 years is not a dynasty.
Here, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
I am listening.
The point I would make is the thing that hurts your argument and why I don't play fast and loose with naming teams dynasties is that for your Spurs angle there, there was a separate team in the same conference that had a dynasty. The Los Angeles Lakers with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant.
Not from 2003 to 2007.
Yes, but 2 of those championships for the Spurs took place in that time.
No, they didn't. 2003,
yes, Their first title was in 99.
I'm talking about 2003 to 2007. 2003, 5, and 7. Spurs.
None of it back-to-back. You have Miami in there, you have Detroit in there, and you have Boston in there.
But if you win 3 out of 5 years...
Again, it's just like the Celtics of the 80s. The team that was the dynasty of that era, the 80s, were the Los Angeles Lakers. They went back-to-back in 87 and 88. They also won in 85. They won in 82. The 80s, it was the Lakers.
Okay.
I'm not trying to crap on the Celtics. They were great as well. They were a great team at that time as well. I just don't hand them out like Tic Tacs. You're walking around like it's Halloween.
I'm not.
Giving dynasties to everyone that won a championship.
I'm not. I'm giving it to one team in the early 2000s, and it's the San Antonio Spurs from 2003 to 2007. 3 and 5 years is a dynasty.
Like, I would say Miami with LeBron and Wade and Bosh, they won back-to-back. That's it. Not a dynasty.
No.
A great run. Congratulations, South Beach.
Good for them.
Shout out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's why when I look at that's my opinion on it. If you want to join the show, Presti or Wemby, 310-840-4910. You can text the show from the 504. I believe that's in New Orleans. The answer is Presti. Send him to New Orleans. Our management is clueless. Thank you from the texter from the 504. From the 470, the text reads, Oklahoma City would win in 6 over the Spurs if they were healthy with Jalen Williams and A.J. Mitchell. So we're talking up the Spurs if you're saying Wemby or Presti, if the Thunder were healthy, it is likely they are in the finals.
Well,
and then you could continue on the conversation of seeing if they will become a dynasty.
Okay. Go back in time and tell Jalen Williams not to get hurt. I don't know what to tell you. It's the NBA season. It happens. Injuries happen. There were games where the Spurs didn't have De'Aaron Fox and Harper. Like, what do you want me to do? You can't control health. Like Victor Wembanyama could get hurt in game 1 of the NBA Finals, and the Knicks could win the NBA Finals. Are we supposed to say, well, if the Spurs are they supposed to put an asterisk on the banner for the Knicks that it says the Knicks are champions, but the Spurs would have won if Wemby was healthy? That's not how it works. Sorry.
Text from the 661, that's out in California. Austin says, if the Spurs are able to win the championship this year, I feel they have the ability to be like the Spurs of the 2000s, as long as they can keep the main players and maybe obtaining one more big name. And that's the team that Abdalla's talking about, the team from the 2000s that won a couple of championships in a few different years, and they were great. And it was Manu, it was Tony Parker, it was Tim Duncan as the catalyst to drive that. And then there are a whole bunch of other bit players that were great. Like Bruce Bowen was great during that time.
Mm-hmm.
They had all kinds of guys that chipped in.
They didn't really need another big name. Like if the Spurs are this young and this good and this deep, like they can acquire like role players and stuff like that. But the Spurs from those early 2000s, they didn't have another big name. It was, like you said, it was Parker, it was Manu, and it was Tim Duncan. And then another, like, they had, like, the role players, like you said.
Yeah, and, Popovich, right?
Of course, yeah.
And Pop's great.
Yes.
And I think we'll see. Time will tell. But I think it is a fascinating question. So thanks to Ray in Chicago for asking that. Wemby or Presti, who would you go? You can text the show at 310-840-4910. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Which team in the NBA Finals is under more pressure, the Knicks or the Spurs? We'll talk about that coming up next with Raj. The final round of the basketball season is here in DraftKings Sportsbook. The app is now available in all 50 states.
Sweat every possession of all the series in one place with one app. New DraftKings customers can sign up with code B&A26 and spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days.
That's code B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. So B&A26 in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, bet tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, void in Ontario. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involve risk of loss. Sportsbook's bonus bets expire in 7 days. $50 in predictions dollars issued weekly for 3 weeks, expire in 1 year. Redeem one non-withdrawable reward. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends June 28th. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
The quest for Lord Stanley's Cup is down to 2. Vegas Golden Knights, Carolina Hurricanes. Whose names will be forever etched on hockey's holy grail, the Stanley Cup Finals. Game 1, tomorrow night, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Raj will join us a little bit later to go one-on-one, but first, that's right. We have breaking news in the NFL, and it might be the largest breaking news story we've seen here to date in the NFL offseason. Myles Garrett is reportedly getting traded from the Cleveland Browns to the Los Angeles Rams. That's right. The Defensive Player of the Year per ESPN and the NFL Network. The Browns are finalizing a trade to send two-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams. In exchange for Garrett, the Rams are expected to send Pro Bowl edge rusher Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, and other draft compensation as negotiations are still going on with the Browns. But the Browns and the Rams making a trade, and the Rams going all in to try and get another Super Bowl championship for Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, as Myles Garrett is getting traded to the West Coast and the Los Angeles Rams.
That's insane. There couldn't be a bigger trade right now. There couldn't be a bigger Super Bowl favorite right now. They were already, we just mentioned that they are the Super Bowl favorites at 8-1. Their odds just went down instantly. I just checked during the break as this trade was announced. And yeah, they're even more of a favorite now because they get the Defensive Player of the Year. He set a record for sacks in the regular season. And last year, the team was horrible, the Browns, but you had this great defensive player. You had this Ferrari hanging out on your crap football team while everything
Myles
that we
Garrett's
joke about
incredible, man,
on the Browns, going through this quarterback competition, dealing with Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. I don't know if Myles Garrett requested this or what was going on, or if the Rams initiated this or the Browns initiated this, but it is not a surprise to me that Myles Garrett is now going to be featured on a championship quality team and just makes the Rams that much better.
You know, and we've seen this throughout the offseason. The Rams have been a team rumored and reported looking to upgrade the team via the trade. And it wasn't necessarily for an edge rusher or the best defensive player in football, but we saw the reports about them looking into the A.J. Brown situation. Mm-hmm. And we talked at the start of today's show, like, hey, it's June 1st. We're getting that A.J. Brown, that hot A.J. Brown trade today we've all been waiting for here in the offseason.
Nope.
No. Instead, the best non-quarterback player in the NFL just got traded. And it is one of those things where if you are in the NFC, if you're a Seattle fan, if you're a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears, San Francisco 49ers, I'm listing off teams that I'm guessing the fan bases think they have a chance to win a Super Bowl, right? The Rams just lapped all of you. Every one of those teams. The Rams now are by far, and Abdalla gave us the numbers on DraftKings on the odds to get to the Super Bowl and to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But the Rams are by far the best team in the NFC.
They went from plus 800 to win the Super Bowl to now plus 550 to win the Super Bowl in a matter of minutes. And look, for the Browns, you didn't just lose Myles Garrett. Like, you're getting back Jared Verse, who is a phenomenal
great player.
A great player. You're getting a 2027 first-round pick, which is probably going to be the 31st or 32nd overall pick, which is still good. And then probably a plethora of picks as well, because those are still being worked out. But you're getting Jared Verse in a first-round pick and then a bunch of other stuff. Myles Garrett is going to the Rams. The Rams also earlier this offseason traded with the Kansas City Chiefs for Trent McDuffie, one of the best corners in the game. And now they extended him. Myles Garrett is one of the highest paid defensive players in the game. So the Rams are just spending cash left and right and figuring out their cap situation. They just gave Matthew Stafford an extension through next season. So this obviously makes him happier because the defense is going to be that much better. We know the offense is already great. They still have to work out. Puka Nacua is on the last year of his deal. This is the last year of Puka Nacua's deal. They still have to work out an extension for Puka Nacua somehow this year because he's a free agent at the end of the season. So they have to figure that out somehow too. There's still a lot of work to be done for the Rams right now, but this by far makes them this even more so than before the Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, so this is what we're talking about right now. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. If you want to join the conversation, you can call or text the show at 310-840-4910. Breaking news in the NFL per the NFL Network and ESPN. Sources, Browns and Rams finalizing a trade for Myles Garrett. So the Cleveland Browns are sending two-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams for two-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round draft pick, and other draft compensation that's still being negotiated, according to the NFL Network and to ESPN. So Garrett to the Rams, Verse heading to the Browns, draft picks also heading to the Browns, and it will go down as one of the largest blockbuster defensive trades we've ever seen in the National Football League. So Myles Garrett, which we've had these talks about Garrett. He is that good. Mm-hmm. And if you are a team that's just sniffing around being one player away, he is that one player away. If you have a quarterback and you're a team that's almost there and you need a true difference maker, Myles Garrett is that guy. That's how good he is. You know, sometimes you could, especially in the NFL, and we're having this conversation with A.J. Brown, right? Like, I'm of the camp that A.J. Brown is a great player, but is he a true difference maker that puts a team like New England over the top? I'm not sold that he is. Mm-hmm. Myles Garrett is that type of player that if he is on your roster, you immediately defensively are better. First of all, the Rams are pretty good defensively. Now, you got Stafford back in the mix, signed that new deal last week. McVay's ready to go. It is by far the Rams are going to be the favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. And what an incredible move. And the fact that Myles Garrett was just out there for the taking, I don't think is that surprising. He hasn't been around the offseason program at all. Yeah. With the Cleveland Browns. New head coach Todd Monken hasn't seen him, right? Like, Monken's too busy worrying about his...
Todd's trying to get a sweet haircut.
Yeah, his sweet haircut, right? Yeah. He's missing photos with the other head coaches at the whole thing, right?
Todd's just trying to get a sweet haircut.
But Monken said last week he hasn't even met Myles Garrett. It's not a surprise. Garrett doesn't show up to this stuff, the offseason stuff.
Well, I think the question was always going to be, what would it take? Right? He's always been available because the Browns aren't good. The Browns aren't going to win the division. The Browns aren't going to go to the Super Bowl. The Browns aren't going to really do anything. He's the best player. Like I said, he's the Ferrari in the middle of an empty field.
I've seen those pictures, right? Like there's a home that's like dilapidated, and then the front yard. There's the front yard. No one's cut the grass in months, right? There's like old tires and there's like cinder blocks sitting in the front yard, and then there's a Ferrari
exactly
parked into the driveway.
Exactly. So what would you have to give up to get that? And the answer is a player who's entering his third year, who's
a great player,
who just turned 25, who's going to turn 26 this year during the season, who had 7.5 sacks last season, who had and who also is going to be very cost effective for the Browns, so you don't have to obviously pay him. So that money's coming off the books, and a first round pick and a bunch of other picks that we'll find out at a certain point. So that was going to be the cost. It wasn't a matter of 3 first-round picks or 4 first-round picks. It was obviously the cost was Jared Verse, a player who has, I'm not saying he has the potential to be Myles Garrett, but Jared Verse is a great player. He's a phenomenal player. He's a game wrecker. Like he's not Myles Garrett by any means, but he's a game changer. And that's what the Browns are getting back, and they're getting a first-round pick, so they have a chance to draft someone who could also be a game changer for them, and then a bunch of other picks. So that's the answer. The question, if you're a team that was one player away, was always, I'm not willing to give up that much for Myles Garrett. Well, the Rams just beat you to it. Sorry. The Rams are always that team that doesn't care about their picks.
Well, they're going for it at all times.
Always.
And you love that.
And when you have a guy, and yes, they did draft Ty Simpson with the 13th overall pick in the draft of a month or so ago. And that doesn't matter now because...
Oh, it doesn't matter now.
No, it does.
Oh,
no,
Mr. Abdalla, it does not matter now.
It does. It matters. It
What
obviously...
are we doing? What's going on?
It obviously matters. It obviously matters.
Yeah.
It obviously matters. Okay? It obviously matters because now when you have Myles Garrett on contract for the next, 4 years or so, he's going to be on the other side of that defense when Ty Simpson's throwing the ball around in 2 years when Matthew Stafford retires. But for 2 years, what's more important is that you got the extension done with Matthew Stafford last week for next season. So now you've got Myles Garrett done. You've got Trent McDuffie done. You've got Matthew Stafford to stick around for another year. That's what matters, is now you're obviously going for it for the next 2 years, and you're going all in when you have your 38-year-old quarterback coming off an MVP season, and you're trying to win it all this year and next year, the last 2 years of his career, presumably.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. The Rams are trading for Myles Garrett. Garrett going to the Rams. The Browns are getting back in return Jared Verse and the 2027 first-round pick and other stuff, which we have yet to see reported yet. But that's essentially it. The first-round pick next year for the Rams and Jared Verse going back to Cleveland. Meanwhile, Myles Garrett, the best defensive player in football, the best non-quarterback player in the NFL, going to the Los Angeles Rams. And so that's the breaking news that we're keeping our eyes on here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app.
And the next question comes from the line of Raj Sharan with Westwood One. Please proceed.
Please proceed. Raj, you have an interesting fact about this trade.
I was doing a little research on this since the trade came in. I found two exclusions to the rule that I'm about to bring up, which I'll say afterward. But this will be the first time that two separate players who are the reigning MVP and the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL are on the same team. The exceptions are Lawrence Taylor won both awards back in 1986, and Alan Page of the Vikings won both in 1971. But since they've essentially become separate awards, this will be the first time the reigning MVP and reigning Defensive Player of the Year will be on the same team. In 94, Steve Young won MVP, Deion won Defensive Player of the Year, but after they won the awards, Deion went to Dallas. So they never played again together as the reigning. So there's some real history here when you have essentially the two most prestigious individual awards in the sport are now going to be in the same locker room.
Yeah, no, that's a great fact.
I just saw this on
call,
Twitter.
Raj.
The Rams now have the 2025 leaders in passing yards and touchdowns, Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
Receptions, Puka.
Yep.
Receiving touchdowns, Devontae Adams. And sacks, Myles Garrett.
Wow.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
and Myles Garrett set all those records chasing quarterbacks never with leads or anything because they never had a quarterback in Cleveland. Yeah. He's going to be like, wow, I'm playing with the lead now. All I have to do is rush the passer. This is amazing.
You're right. He goes from the graveyard of quarterbacks past, right? Like that. Somewhere there's that dude walking around Cleveland with that jersey.
He's going from Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders to like the best quarterback in the league right now.
That's insane. So Myles Garrett getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. Why did the Browns do this trade now? We'll talk about that coming up next.
It's summertime. While you're road tripping, pool dipping, and laid back sipping, stay on top of the sports headlines you care about. Download the Westwood One Sports app and listen to us wherever you are. Cannonball! Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
We have breaking news in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns and the Los Angeles Rams are finalizing a trade for Myles Garrett. That's right, Myles Garrett getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams, heading back to Cleveland. Jared Verse, the 2027 first-round draft pick, and other draft compensation, per reports from the NFL Network and ESPN. So there you go. You have Myles Garrett, the second best. I say second best because he's quarterbacks are usually viewed as the best players in the NFL, but the best non-quarterback player is Myles Garrett, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. The dude is an absolute monster. He's 30 years old. He can still play. He impacts the game more defensively than any other player in the National Football League. He is being traded today to the Los Angeles Rams. Getting back, now Jared Verse is a really good player.
Yeah.
And you get a first-round draft pick and other stuff, but I don't know if an ask is too high for Myles Garrett. I expected more than just one first-round draft pick.
Well, I mean, look, Jared Verse is entering his third year in the league. He's still on a rookie deal. I mean, he's still very young. And getting that first-round pick, and look, there still could be a lot more. There could be second-round picks. There could be third-round picks. Like, Jared Verse is still worth a lot of picks. Like, the compensation you would get for just trading Jared Verse would probably be a couple first-round picks. So his value alone is worth a lot. And I'm not saying that Myles Garrett is, going to, his value is going to decrease or anything like that. He's still, like you mentioned, he's the best non-quarterback in the league. He is also 30. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. He's 30 years old. You are trading for a 30-year-old player. He did just set the record in sacks. He is also 30. So at any point, you could get an injury. You did just trade, like, if I'm the Rams and I'm doing the negotiating, I'm giving you a much younger player who's entering the third year and a first-round pick. It's pretty fair to me, as opposed to a team that's just giving you picks.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We're talking about Myles Garrett getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams. Breaking news in the last couple minutes here on Westwood One Sports. Browns GM Andrew Berry is at like a charity golf event, and reporters were able to just track him down just now and talk to him. Here's Andrew Berry just moments ago talking about the Myles Garrett trade.
Not naive that there's a lot in the social media sphere regarding Myles. Nothing is final at this point. We are in discussions of a potential transaction, including him. I'll have a lot more to say about it once it is final, if it does become final. And I'll discuss the details at that point. But we are in negotiations. We're hopeful that we close something here in the next several hours. But nothing's final right yet. So like I said, I'll have an update for you guys maybe as soon as tomorrow when there's resolution. All right.
So there you go. There's
Now,
Andrew Berry.
Check out this backswing.
Browns GM. Well, I'm just saying. I just don't. I hope that a lot of this is physicals have to be taken. T's have to be crossed.
Oh, no.
I's have to be dotted.
No. Don't Max Crosby this.
I don't want a Max Crosby situation.
Do not Max Crosby this trade.
Well, we're all locked and loaded. Crosby to the Ravens, and then Crosby shows up to the facility, and they're like, we don't really want you.
Yeah, but
we kind of want Trey Hendrickson instead. So let's pull the old switcheroo.
Is healthy as a horse.
Easy.
When horses are healthy and don't have to be
the large male.
Yes, I
he
understand.
Is a physical specimen.
His arm is bigger than the two of us combined.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, he doesn't have degenerative knee issues like Max Crosby does.
No, he doesn't. And I think that's where, it's also, if you're making this deal for the Rams, you know what you're getting. Right?
Yeah.
Like this, you're not, I think there was an element to the Ravens situation where it seemed like they were trying to play both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to, it's like Abdalla back in high school. He has two ladies after him, and he's playing both on. He's trying to be a womanizer back in the day in high school. You with your back in high. People may not know this, but in high school, because Abdalla and I went to high school together.
We did.
Friendly, but we weren't necessarily friends in high school.
Wildcats.
We're acquaintances, right? But you would sit there and you'd have your what would it be, a blazer, a suit jacket on in high school. And you had little spikes on the shoulders.
I wasn't the
little
one.
Spikies on the shoulders.
I wasn't the one. For those wondering, I wasn't the one wearing not puka nakua, puka shell necklaces.
Yeah, that was it was a fad.
And had sun in my hair.
Hey, it happened.
That was you.
Okay. My point was, I was building you up. You were just saying this to take me down.
No, I'm saying the ladies.
I'm building you up. That you had the ladies.
The ladies weren't flocking over here.
They like the mini fro that you had.
The ladies were like, "What are you doing?"
And the little spikes on your shoulders.
The ladies weren't doing over. The ladies were like, "What do you do? Why do you smell like weed?"
The other
and cigarettes.
The other aspect to add to the painting of the picture of Abdalla in high school was he was the kid in the high school class that, unlike everyone else who carried a backpack or their books in their arms, he carried a briefcase.
Oh, yeah.
And he would walk into the class and slam the briefcase onto the desk and then open it up.
Did you not have business to conduct? Did you not have business papers?
I did not. No.
Well,
I was not conducting business in high school.
You went about school all wrong then, my
yeah,
friend.
I think
business.
I was.
I had business to conduct.
The point being,
I had things to sell and
business. Bit of a womanizer, Mr. Young Abdalla.
That is the last thing that I was.
Breaking news here on Westwood One Sports: Myles Garrett getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams. Jared Verse and the 2027 first-round pick going back to Cleveland. So why did Cleveland do this? To answer initially, the response is because Myles Garrett didn't want to be there anymore. He seemed unhappy, but they controlled him, right? They controlled the contract. He was going to hold out, I'm guessing, until the very last minute for training camp like he did last year. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of how it goes with Myles Garrett, no?
I think this is a move for the future, obviously. This is the Browns, and this is Todd Monken, and this is the entire organization looking at where they are and saying, why are we paying Myles Garrett this much money when we're not going to be good, when we have a chance to get another first-round pick in an extremely strong draft? This 2027 draft is going to be, and you're going to hear about it for the next year, one of the best drafts in a decade. So you can get an extra pick in that draft, and you can get a player who's entering his third year in the league and a chance to build that defense even stronger with a younger player. I'm not saying that Myles Garrett is bad. Obviously not. He's the best non-quarterback in the league, like you said. But you have a chance to get younger and build for the future. And that's what they're doing. And they're building something for the future. And if they choose to move on and add a new quarterback, then that's what they do.
Jared Verse is good. Oh, Cleveland's outlook isn't great, though.
I'm telling you, it's ammo to trade up for a quarterback next year.
I mean, I guess they've got 1,000 quarterbacks all in the competition right now.
They're cheap to cut.
How many Hall of Famers are currently on? Future Hall of Famers are on the Rams right now. We'll talk about that coming up next. It's Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, and all our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, hanging out with you until 3 Eastern, and then Jim Rome will take over here on Westwood One Sports. You can join the show by calling or texting us at 310-840-4910. We have breaking news in the NFL today. The Cleveland Browns are trading Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams. That's right, the two-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, reportedly is getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams for two-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round draft pick, and other draft compensation that's still being negotiated. And the sources are telling the NFL Network and ESPN. So that's Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and Adam Schefter all working together on the story. So there you go. The Browns trade Myles Garrett to the Rams, and it instantly makes the Rams the Super Bowl favorite and the favorite in the NFC. You and I have talked about it here in the offseason with the NFL that we both thought the Rams were the best team in the NFC, even though the Seattle Seahawks just won the Super Bowl. We both thought that the Rams were the best team, and now they add the best non-quarterback player in the NFL on the defensive side. So Myles Garrett to the Rams. What a move.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Rams are all in this year. They obviously have extended Matthew Stafford last week to give him one more year on his deal. So he's going to be a Ram this year and next year. Earlier in the offseason, they traded with Kansas City for Trent McDuffie. They extended him. And now with adding Myles Garrett, they go from 8-1 to win the Super Bowl to 6-1. Currently on DraftKings, use code B&A26 if you're new to DraftKings.
Shout out to DraftKings.
And,
absolutely.
Albert Breer just posted a very lengthy story about how this happened and why it was Jared Verse and a first-round pick. And basically, this is different than any other trade. This wasn't going because of Myles Garrett's stature and what he's done and breaking the sack record and the type of player that he is and the fact that he's the best non-quarterback in the league and the fact that he's basically up there with a quarterback and the fact that you're basically trading for a quarterback. Like you can put him up there with a quarterback.
Not a quarterback, like a great quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so the fact that the Browns wanted a cost-controlled player back and a first-round pick. So Jared Verse was the centerpiece of this deal, and then obviously the 2027 first-round pick, because the Browns believe that they have someone that they can build with the rest of their young defensive core that they have now. They've got Mason Graham, they've got Quinshon Judkins, they've got a bunch of young players, and then also Albert Breer writes that whatever happens with their quarterback situation, Deshaun Watson's obviously going to be gone at the end of this season. Whether it's Shedeur Sanders, whether it's Dylan Gabriel, or if it's someone moving forward.
Mystery
you
box.
have a younger core, and now you don't have a guy who's going to be a Hall of Famer, a walk-in first ballot Hall of Famer, just kind of treading water while this young core grows. Also, Myles Garrett had to come to Cleveland, waive his no-trade clause to get this deal done. So Myles Garrett had to okay this deal. They had to push some of this guaranteed money that he was going to get to like September from this contract. He was supposed to get a bunch of guaranteed money that was set to start earlier last month. They had to move that to September because this has been something that apparently they'd been working on for a while. And now that all this is done, Myles Garrett had been aware of this for a while. This has been something that had been in the works for a while, apparently, according to Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated. And now, with working with the Rams have now gone all in with the moves with Trent McDuffie and the moves for Myles Garrett. And the Browns now have readjusted their core, their young core, and are looking towards building towards their future with a younger Jared Verse. And the Rams are not just better, but insanely better than they were.
They're the best team in football.
Than they were like an hour ago.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. And you and I thought that they were the best team in football before the trade.
Yeah.
And now this just puts it even farther over the top. I apologize that I didn't think of this 20 minutes ago when we first started talking about this trade. When we look at last summer, when Micah Parsons was traded to Green Bay, the Cowboys got back Kenny Clark, who's a controlled player. Now, a little bit different because he's not an edge rusher, but interior defensive lineman. And they got back 2 first-round picks. They got the 2026 first-rounder and 2027. So are we going to get more draft compensation that's a first-rounder back for Garrett?
Kenny Clark isn't Jared Verse.
No, but still.
Kenny Clark ain't Jared Verse.
He ain't Jared Verse, but he's a good player. Now, Jared Verse, for all that you want to hype it up, because that's where my thought was going. For Jared Verse, 5 years younger than Myles Garrett. He's 25. With that said, he is not nearly the player that Garrett is.
No.
Right? Like, in his first season, Jared Verse had 4.5 sacks. In his second season, he had 7.5. That's good.
But you could trade that.
It's Myles Garrett.
You could trade that entire.
But saying that
Rams-
Verse is better than Kenny Clark, I think Garrett is better than Micah Parsons. And the fact that the Rams were able to land Myles Garrett without having to give up 2 first-round picks, that's a steal.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's wild.
I think anything besides saying that the Browns got 3 first-round picks and then some would be a steal. There's no amount I think that you can put on what Myles Garrett is going to bring. But I also think from the other side, when you look at it, you can say, hey, we're giving you a 25-year-old player who can be the future, who has 2 years left on his deal with a 3rd-year option, who can be a future of your franchise. We're giving you a first-round pick, albeit Myles Garrett, he is 30. If I'm the Rams and I'm negotiating, this is a negotiation. I have to give you what the worst part of your player is. The worst part of Myles Garrett is that he's 30 years old. And so if I'm giving you a 25-year-old player and you're giving me a 30-year-old player, that's the negotiation tactic if I'm the Rams that I'm going to use.
No doubt. It absolutely is. I just think that when you look at, I was just trying to think in my mind the other blockbuster defensive trades, and we had one last year, right? And that immediately sent people into the idea that the Green Bay Packers were the best team in the conference. And do you guys remember back to the start of last season, at the end of the summer, the start of the football season, hot out, Packers, who they play, it was like the Lions, and they won by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And Micah Parsons is out there with his getting sacks at the end of the game, and everyone's like, oh, Green Bay's going to the Super Bowl. And then the season took place.
Well, yeah, he got injured. Yes,
it did. You can't guarantee that the health of NFL players. Absolutely not. So when I asked the question, how many future Hall of Famers are on this Rams squad moving forward? Myles Garrett right now, today, if he retired, would be a Hall of Famer.
Easily.
The same will go with Matthew Stafford. If Stafford retired today, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
The other names, there is a name who I think if he retired today has a pretty good chance to be a Hall of Famer, and that's Davante Adams.
Yeah.
Right? He has a very good shot. Without looking at the numbers, I'm guessing Davante Adams will become a Hall of Famer at some point.
I think so, too.
So that's 3. Could Puka Nacua get to that point? Now, he would have to assemble a body of work of 7 to 8 to 10 years of play that we've seen the last 2. It's possible he has the talent. Is there anyone else? Could Trent McDuffie get into the conversation?
Trent McDuffie's got a chance. There's an interesting note on Puka Nacua. Jeremy Fowler tweeted about a half an hour ago, Rams' approach is fascinating, taking big swings instead of paying young stars. Sources say LA is giving early impressions that it won't extend 2027 free agents. Puka Nacua, and then he also says Byron Young, Kobe Turner, Steve Avila. But the big one, obviously, is Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua is the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, you could argue
it's
that.
him and Jackson Smith-Njigba. It's those two.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
those are the 3.
Statistically, it's you can argue it's Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
They could always franchise tag him. He's had some off-the-field issues. It is interesting that they are letting him go into the final year of his deal without any negotiation, without an extension, without anything. He talked about it last week and said the player thing, these things will work themselves out, all that kind of stuff. But it is interesting that Jeremy Fowler notes, because I think that that's a big deal, right? Where does Puka Nacua end up if he is a free agent? I think Matthew Stafford, if he sticks with the Rams and he's got another year with Matthew Stafford and future Hall of Famer Ty Simpson, then yes. Then yeah. Then yeah. Then obviously.
That's the name I forgot. Ty Simpson, you're right.
Yeah. Then obviously.
You're right. I forgot that.
Then he's going to be a walk-in Hall of Famer. Then yeah, for sure.
I would say a name we have yet to mention who I think will be a Hall of Famer, maybe outside the box thinking, But you got to look at maybe Sean McVay.
Oh, Sean
Right?
McVay's in the Hall of Fame.
Sean McVay?
Sean McVay's good. Dude, he's
right.
I'm picking them to win the Super Bowl. If they win this year, he might win back-to-back with this roster. They will be, if they win this year, they will definitely be the favorites.
Hold up. You are getting way ahead of yourself. Did you just say the Rams might go back-to-back?
If they win this year, you cannot tell me that they won't be the favorites next year.
Is Stafford playing?
Yes.
Or is he riding off in the sunset?
No, he already signed an extension for next year.
Yeah, it's every other year. You never know with Stafford.
Okay.
They got the back. He's got the choppers working. You know the whole thing.
This is how
He and
this
his
plays
wife,
out.
Same teeth.
This is how
Have
this
you ever
plays
seen
out.
it?
Yeah, they share them. He takes them out. She puts them in. This is how this works out. This is how this works out. Stafford and McVay win this year.
Yes.
They're the favorites to win next year.
Okay.
If they win back-to-back Super Bowls,
Yep.
they both leave.
They dip.
McVay and Stafford
double dip.
Both leave.
Out.
Stafford retires.
Yeah.
McVay goes to a desk and or booth.
What are you doing?
What if they win this year, take a break, a year off, don't win?
Hold on, Raj.
Hold on, okay.
You have to be welcomed in.
Raj. Okay, hold on.
Question
Hold on.
comes from the line of Raj Sharan with Westwood One. Please proceed.
Please proceed, Raj.
Okay. What if they win this year, don't win next year, and then win the following year, and they'll have won 3 championships going back to 2022, but none consecutively? Is it a dynasty?
No, it's not a dynasty. It's not a dynasty.
I'm glad you guys are coming around on
Not
this.
a dynasty.
You
Not
guys
a dynasty.
fought it for so long. It's like, just be logical
Not a
about the
dynasty.
situation.
Not a dynasty.
Jeez. But yes, I mean, this team is loaded. The breaking news is Myles Garrett is getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams. Jared Verse, 2027 first-round pick, and other items are going back to Cleveland.
Here's our stapler.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know yet. Andrew Berry's at a golf tournament.
We're throwing in our fax machine.
A charity golf tournament. He's got to figure it out today. So that's the news breaking here on Westwood One
They
Sports
could get a box
and the
at the
Westwood
Super
One
Bowl
Sports app.
since they're hosting the Super Bowl. Like Cleveland, you can come hang out. You know, Shador could entertain a bunch of people. It'd be great.
Yes.
Shador and
everyone's
Monken,
looking
I would
forward
want to
that.
hang out in that box at the Super Bowl.
I was just trying to get a sweet haircut.
Yes. Monken's box. Yes, correct. Thank you, Raj. Yes, absolutely. You know what's interesting is today of all days. To get to this point where, you know, May is over. All right, June is here. June 1st. It's officially summer, right? Like this is what we wait for the entire calendar year, especially if you're someone that lives in the north or the northeast, right? Like you deal with winter and all you wish is, I can't wait for summer to get here. I'm not talking to Roy and Laura or our great producers out in Southern California that they get to live the great life every day.
Yep.
Every day, 75 and sunny.
Beautiful.
Nothing to complain about other than the traffic.
And the fires.
Right? Well, yeah, that's not funny. The fires are not funny.
And the earthquakes.
That's why you don't joke about that.
I'm just saying, you said nothing to complain about. Earthquakes and fires.
Okay. The point being is that when June arrives and it's finally summer, you know, it is, we start moving in the right direction. And today is a special day because we are officially today 100 days away from the start of the NFL season. And here on the Bleck Abdalla Show, for the next 100 days, we will feature the NFL in a segment we like to call the Summer of Football.
I proclaim this the Summer of Football! What the hell's going on out here? We're going to be here all day, baby! I like this kind of party. Only Brett Favre could do that. I don't care what you say.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
We need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots.
The Summer of Football with Bleck and Abdalla.
I throw, you catch. It's not that hard, okay?
That's right. We are 100 days away from the start of the NFL season. We'll be counting it down throughout the summer, a segment we call the Summer of Football. Today is the first day, day 100. And the only way we can look at it is the breaking news. What a present from the NFL.
What a gift.
Myles Garrett traded to the Los Angeles Rams on day 100 until we get to the first kickoff of the football season.
God bless the NFL.
How great is that?
What a day.
What a present for us.
What a day.
Myles Garrett traded to the Rams. The Rams sending back Jared Verse and the 2027 first-round pick and other items going back to Cleveland. And Abdalla laughs every single time. They're still negotiating. That's the reports from ESPN and the NFL Network.
We've got an old copy machine in the back you guys can have if you want.
But Myles Garrett going to the Rams. And the one thing that I would mention to add to this for the summer of football today is Myles Garrett, who is 30, has 125 and a half sacks to this point in his career. He is already, at this moment, tied for 28th all-time in career sacks in the National Football League. He's tied with Dwight Freeney. And Myles Garrett is 30. And he is likely to climb this list and go pretty high on said list for the all-time sack leaders. Bruce Smith leads the all-time sack list in the NFL with 200 sacks. The player with the most sacks, who is active still, is Von Miller. He's tied for 13th with 138 and a half sacks. Cam Jordan is at 22 at 132. And then Myles Garrett. Those are the three active names on the all-time sack list in NFL history.
And he did all that on a bad team.
Oh, yeah. And I would
now
imagine
he's going to do it with leads and like on a good team.
Yes.
Like on a real, like if I'm Sam Darnold, if I'm Brock Purdy, and whoever the Cardinals pick, I don't even know who's there.
Carson Beck.
Okay.
Jacoby
sure.
Brissett.
If I'm
when he's done holding out.
If I'm Jacoby Brissett, I'm like, nah, bro. You need to add. Like, I'm going back for another offer. Like, yesterday's price is not today's price.
Hazard pay.
I'm sorry. Yesterday's price.
A legit topic that was planned for today's show before we got the NFL breaking news of the Rams trading for Myles Garrett. A legit topic was the Cardinals are not sweating Jacoby Brissett holding out.
Oh, man.
That was a legit topic that we had planned for this show today.
If I'm Jacoby Brissett, you got to put another $10 million on that. There's no way I'm getting my ass kicked by Myles Garrett for 2 games. Hell no.
Raj will join us coming up next to go one-on-one. Who are we picking to win the Super Bowl today? We will tell you coming up next.
The NBA Finals are set. It's a 1999 rematch. Knicks, Spurs. Will New York win its first title in 53 years? Or will San Antonio continue its championship legacy? Now with Wemby leading the way. Game 1 tips Wednesday night. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
We've been following the breaking news story in the NFL. Today, the Cleveland Browns are sending Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, and now we do have the full compensation going back to Cleveland. So it's Jared Verse, the 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-round pick. So a first, a second, a third, and Jared Verse all going back to Cleveland, and the Rams are getting back Myles Garrett. ESPN and the NFL Network reporting the full compensation now for the trade as Myles Garrett goes to the Rams in a blockbuster trade taking place today, 100 days away from the start of the NFL season. Here in the offseason, it's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We host each and every day from the great city of Chicago. And now we bring in Raj Sharon, who's out in Colorado, parts unknown.
And the next question comes from the line of Raj Sharan with Westwood One. Please proceed.
Please proceed. On a Monday, Raj, we now play a little one-on-one.
That's right, fellas. Hello, guys. That was crazy on the report you just gave, Bleck, of the Avengers coming together. We got Schefter and Rappaport and Pelissar all working together on stories. crazy world we are in today, and a crazy world where Myles Garrett, speaking of Avengers, is now teamed up with all these other great players in Los Angeles. So that leads to our first one-on-one question today. Abdalla, who you picking to win the Super Bowl? Myles Garrett's Los Angeles Rams or the field?
I hate the field questions.
Raj, your question sucks. Back to you.
No.
I mean, what do you do?
No,
Do you know
because,
why?
think about it,
Because he's torn up because he knows the rules and
Yeah.
logic say you're supposed to pick the field,
Yes.
but he knows the
supposed to pick
Rams are winning. He knows
because
the
I
Rams
know
are
the
winning.
Rams are winning, but logic is supposed to tell you to pick the field because, like on a roulette wheel, like it's easier to pick all the numbers versus just like 12. You know, like the number 12.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
the odds are not in your favor.
The odds are not in my favor
No,
to pick
they're
the
not.
Rams. So, but I'm still gonna pick the Rams. So the Rams, Raj. The answer to the Rams.
Wow.
I'm a prisoner of the moment. I'm gonna take the Rams.
All right, I'll take the field. I'll take the field because of logic.
Well, look at you.
No, I mean, I understand. Today, June 1st.
Look
I
at you
get
and
it.
your mediocre rapper.
We're getting all, what?
Logic, he's a mediocre rapper.
Oh, he is? Yeah. Any songs I would know?
Nope.
Okay. Raj, to answer your question, here's the thought. Do super teams work in the NFL? I mean, we've seen a couple of teams that have been put together in the past where we thought they would have the outcome of winning a Super Bowl. Raj put together the list. 2011 Eagles. The 2007 Patriots. They got pretty close. The 2000 Washington football team. I don't recall. It didn't work out for Washington. Didn't work out for the Eagles. It almost worked for the 2007 Patriots with Randy Moss and Tom Brady. Do super teams work in the NFL? This is what my answer is more of a larger conversation. This feels very NBA-esque. Does it not? When do we in the NFL have a team that is by far the best team or the favorite? I feel like many times we usually know who the best team in the NBA is, and they are, a team that's won a championship or they've been put together and like the expectations are they should be great. We don't usually get that in the NFL.
Yeah, but
so that's why I'm going to go with the field because all of this is leaning towards what we are expecting today here in June isn't necessarily how a football season plays out.
But the Rams were a favorite 2 hours ago before we had this news.
And
this is a
I
team.
think that they're the best team in football. They have the best roster.
They
Absolutely.
were like 2 or 3 plays away from going to the Super Bowl last year.
Another way that I would look at it is how much better are they than Baltimore? How much better are the Rams than Seattle? How much better are the Rams than Buffalo? They're better. Are they they're in a tough division? San Francisco, Seattle, and Jacoby Brissett. It's a tough division with the Cardinals, right? You could paint a picture where Buffalo is like a 14-win team, 15-win team, right? Like you've been telling me all offseason that Buffalo's great.
I've said that they're better than
Softer division.
Yeah.
So you could paint a picture where a team like that gets all the way to the Super Bowl. And then it's a one-game situation.
I understand that, but I could also say that this, like I just said, this team was a few plays away from winning the Super Bowl. They got their asses handed to them because they couldn't stop anybody from throwing on them. They addressed their biggest need. They just got the best defensive player of this era. Arguably,
I'm not feeling it. As a Chicago Bears fan, I'm not thrilled today. This isn't great. This isn't great for me.
My
favorite team's biggest need, and the team that's standing in our path went and got that player.
This isn't like the Eagles just went out and got Myles Garrett, and it's like, okay, well, they've got some holes, and they just added Myles Garrett. Like, this is a team that they thought they were holeless. They had enough. They had so few holes that they went out and they drafted a player that's not going to play for 2 years with the 13th overall pick in the draft.
They were holeless.
Holeless. All their holes were filled.
Oh, easy.
On their team.
All right.
That they went out.
The large male.
That they went out and they drafted a player that's not going to see the field for 2 years.
I had tassels on my pasty.
That's what they did.
Yes, tassels on your pasty.
That's what they did. They had no.
They filled
had
their holes.
no needs with the 13. They didn't need a wide receiver. No. We don't need Mekhi Lemon. No. We're good.
They filled their
We don't need another edge rush. No. We're just going to go out and trade for Myles Garrett.
Okay. My answer, Raj, is I will take the field.
All right. Well, in Lost in Miles Mania, there's a little thing on Wednesday called the NBA Finals that are about to start. So our next question, Bleck, the New York Knicks or the San Antonio Spurs are under more pressure in these NBA Finals?
I'm going to go Spurs. The Knicks enter the finals with house money. Right? Like their atmosphere will be better. Their fans are going to be amped. They weren't expected, I think, to get necessarily to this. But I know the team will say, and Knicks fans will say, we thought we could do it. And like Ben Stiller's out there tweeting up a storm constantly saying, we're going to show the haters. And it's like, listen, Zoolander, the deal is this. Your team's very good, but nationally, I don't think people thought that the Knicks were getting to the finals. So to me, with Stiller and Chalamet and all of Tracy Morgan, it's house money, right? Like if the Knicks somehow split the first 2 games, boy, the scene at Madison Square Garden for Game 3 is going to be insane, right? Like it's going to be an all-time atmosphere in league history.
Yeah.
So I think the pressure's all on San Antonio because it's also one of those things where Wembanyama needs to live up to what he has been crowned. He's been crowned as the next face of the league and the next legacy guy to go chase championships. And the best way you can do that is by getting one early. When you're 22, if you can get a championship under your belt before he's even gotten to his prime as a player, that will begin, Raj, 10 to 15 years down the road. That's when we can start having the conversations of, is Wemby as great as LeBron? Is Wemby as great as Jordan? Is he as great as Magic? You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to start early. If it doesn't start early, then you become Joel Embiid.
Okay. I agree with you, but it is the Spurs. But I want to look at it from a different angle, too, because I do feel like while the Knicks, nobody thought they could get here. When you're there, I feel like while the pressure's all on the Spurs, the Knicks, while nobody thought they would get there, that also means they have the least likely chance of getting back. So the pressure's on them to win, because I feel like a lot of people were also saying that should the Spurs get there, it's a much easier matchup for the Knicks than if it was the Thunder. And so because of that, they've also had a week off. They've had everyone's healthy. There's no injuries, like besides Mitchell Robinson. Like
they're ready to go, man.
Everything is in their favor.
I mean, Mitchell Robinson's dealing with an injury, but he's also a player who can't shoot.
Exactly.
So club that puppy up and let's get out there.
Let's go.
Go play some defense.
Exactly. Everything is in their favor. So I feel like the pressure of like the city being on them is pretty big, because with Jalen Brunson and this team, like the Spurs and Wemby, we kind of think that it's going to go back and forth between the Thunder and them for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
The Knicks might never get back to this point. This iteration of the Knicks. They could, but you said house money. They might know. We don't know what's going to go on in the East. We don't know who's going to add, Antetokounmpo. We don't know where LeBron's going to go. We don't know any of this stuff. The East is all up for grabs. The Knicks might never get back to this situation. So I think there might be a little bit more pressure on the Knicks.
You're such a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm just saying how it is.
All right,
Raj?
Abdalla, let's stay on the Thunder. Now fresh off of losing in Game 7, the Thunder should trade Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, or neither and run it back.
I don't think you can run it back. I think you got to do something. I think you have to look at what's ahead of you with the Spurs, and you have to find some way to counter what you just stared in the face of Victor Wembanyama. Like, you can't face that again and just say we can, it was game 7 and we just lost. Like, remember, last year, they got to game 7 in the finals too, and it could have gone either way. So this isn't the first time this team went to a game 7 and it could have gone either way. So I think they do need to do some retooling. I don't know if it's Holmgren or Williams, but I don't think you can just stand pat and run everything back.
Okay, so who has the higher trade value out there? Because after game 7, in seeing Chet Holmgren turn into a turtle and just not participate in the game, 2 shots in 33 minutes from your second best player and 4 points scored, that's pathetic from Chet Holmgren. With that said, if you go to trade him this offseason, everyone else in the league saw that. What team is willing to give up a lot of stuff for Chet Holmgren right now? Because if you're a team looking for a star and Chet Holmgren's your number 1 star, your team's not going anywhere, right? And I'll speak just from my fandom. My fandom lies with the Chicago Bulls. If you said that the Bulls could trade for either Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren, you want Williams.
Yeah.
So he's a player that could go out and get his own bucket. He's also someone that maybe if he is the number 1 guy, his points per game jumps a little bit. And he is a guy who's won at a high level and played well in big spots. He was just injured for this playoff run. So I think for what we do, to speculate that there's going to be moves and trades taking place with the Thunder, I think it works. I think the logical way to look at this, Raj, would be that they don't trade anybody and they bring everyone back. And you just have to be healthy when you face the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals next year. And their team essentially is back. SGA is under contract until 31. Hartenstein has a team option for $28.5 for this upcoming season. So the club's going to pick that up. Lou Dort, team option. They'll pick that up. Caruso's under contract for 3 more seasons, so he's there. Holmgren, under contract until 31. Jalen Williams, under contract until 31. I mean, hell, this upcoming season, Jared McCain, who was fantastic in the Western Conference Finals, has a player option for $4 million, right? Like, the Thunder are set.
Yeah.
I don't think they do anything. The only thing that would be out there is whether or not they go sniffing around a Giannis Antetokounmpo trade. That could be out there. But, Raj, I wouldn't do anything.
All right, fellas, and that's going to do it for one-on-one because, well, we took up about 4 questions worth of time on the first one. Thank you, Bleck and Abdalla.
Well, Raj, listen, it's breaking news. Miles
It is
Garrett
breaking
getting
news.
traded to the Los Angeles Rams. And
I'm still not quite sure what to make of Abdalla's response, but it was a response nevertheless.
And here's the thing.
I said the Rams.
Because of that response, we then had to bump the question, Raj, that you had questions for us about whatever the Chicago Bears are doing with their stadium situation, which at this moment, we have no idea.
The answer's nothing.
We have no idea at this moment.
The answer's nothing.
It could be Indiana. It could be the suburbs of Chicago. Hell, at this point, I guess Chicago's back in the mix.
Play in my backyard.
I don't know. What I do know, Raj, and for people who are unaware of the situation, a billionaire franchise could go build their own stadium if they wanted to.
Just build it, man.
No one is stopping them from building their own stadium.
Just build it.
But when you want politicians to give you this, that, and the other, all right. So that's it. Thank you, Raj. Thank you, for a great edition of One-on-One on a Monday. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. So we had one big trade already today. Is there another one that's percolating? Is there another one that could take place with a star wide receiver? We will update that story coming up next.
The quest for Lord Stanley's Cup is down to 2. Vegas Golden Knights, Carolina Hurricanes. Whose names will be forever etched on hockey's holy grail? The Stanley Cup Finals. Game 1, tomorrow night. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
If you missed the podcast today, check it out on Apple and on Spotify. If you missed anything from the show, you can also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The live stream is up each and every day. Bleck and Abdalla Show on YouTube. New content posted daily right there on the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Bleck and Abdalla Show. Thank you to Raj and Roy for producing today's show. Jim Rome and the Jim Rome Show is coming up next here on Westwood One Sports in about 14 minutes as we hang out with you until Jim Rome coming up at 3 Eastern right here on Westwood One Sports. So we had breaking news earlier today in the NFL. Myles Garrett is getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams. Going back to the Rams, it will be Jared Verse, a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick in 27, 28, and 29. That's the way it's going to work. So 3 picks going back in Jared Verse, and then Myles Garrett heading to Los Angeles. So is that the only deal we're going to get today? Heading into today, June 1st, we thought there would be news with a different star player in the NFL, a star wide receiver, that being A.J. Brown. Jordan Schultz has put out there on social media, sources, the Patriots and the Eagles have had deep discussions on a trade that would send A.J. Brown to New England for a 2028 first-round pick. Other details of the trade package are still being finalized, but the expected deal on this is to happen and happen soon. So that's Jordan Schultz on social media. He's the only one right now that's out there saying that A.J. Brown is likely to get dealt to the Patriots for a first-round pick in 2028, which, to your point, when we were having this conversation, earlier in the show, it was about 12:20 Eastern time. We were talking about this earlier today. You mentioned the first-round pick in 2027 not being something that you would be willing to move and give up based on how great the draft class is for this upcoming season.
Yeah.
If it's true that they're going to trade a 2028 first-round pick, okay, that I think might make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, it would, because you obviously would have liked to get the deal done for 2026. The Eagles weren't going to do that because it would have cost them a lot more financially. They wanted to do something on June 1st or later. We're here today. The Patriots don't want to give up a 2027 first-round pick because this draft is going to be very good. There also might be some regression. Obviously, the Patriots don't think that. We think that. The Patriots will never say that they're going to regress at all. But the 2028 draft...
Are they focused?
Yeah, they're probably focused.
On football?
Probably.
They got her locked and loaded?
Everything, eyes on
Ready
the prize.
to go?
Eyes on the prize.
Coach is in?
Eyes on the prize.
Coaching football?
Eyes on the prize.
Got everything ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. I think, yeah. I
no
mean,
more retreats.
No treats?
No more retreats.
Oh, retreats.
Treats
Okay.
are fine. No more retreats.
Well, it depends on the type of treat.
All right. Easy.
What?
Easy.
I've never been a fan of Rice Krispie treats. I'm just gonna be honest with
All
you.
right. Well, you're not a sweet boy.
That's true. I'd rather have something salty.
Oh. Anyway.
No, I feel like it's deserving. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I earned that
Ding
one.
yourself. Yeah,
I earned that one. Yeah. Yes.
A 2028 first round pick is a lot more doable.
Treats.
A 2028 first round pick is a lot more doable.
I think so.
It's a lot more doable because if you think, even if you're the Patriots and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're being honest with yourself, you could probably say that maybe a second-year regression from Drake May might be coming. Might be coming.
Wow.
You could say that. And then a fourth year, you could get back to being better again. So then that 2028 pick will be worse. So then you aren't giving the Eagles as good of a pick. Either way, this upcoming draft is going to be better this year than 2028. So whatever, future picks, look at the Rams, they don't care. So you might as well, if you're not going to give up a pick this year, give up a 2028 first round pick, and whatever happens, happens.
So on that point, looking at, here's the way that I view it for the Patriots. I disagree with you. I don't think Drake May takes a step back. I think he takes a step forward. I think Drake May is the real deal. With that said, I could see him being better as a quarterback while also it being a tougher season for the Patriots so they don't win the division the way that they won the division last year.
He was like 5 votes away from being MVP.
Right. I understand your point. So you're looking at it saying he's going. I'm just saying the development of a young player. I don't think Drake May it's fluky. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. So I think he'll take another step forward. With that said, I don't think the Patriots will be successful as a team this upcoming season to that level, to that extent. That's my point. It's like I think the team takes a step back because it's a tougher schedule. It's a first place schedule. Mm-hmm. And last year they had the last place deal. Mm-hmm. And they had a easy schedule. And people talked about that throughout last season. And one other note that you mentioned about, look at the Rams. They don't care. So this is a tweet from Field Yates. And the Rams make the trade for Myles Garrett earlier today. Field Yates puts out there, Rams first-round picks since 2016. Here are the first-round picks the Rams have used since 2016. In 16, they used that pick to select Jared Goff, who then they traded for Matthew Stafford. So not on the team. 2017 did not have a pick. 2018 did not have a pick. 2019 did not have a pick. 2020, no pick. 21, no pick. 22, no pick. 23, no pick. 24, they drafted Jared Verse, who they just traded to the Browns for Myles Garrett. Mm-hmm. 25, no pick. And then 26, this year, they drafted Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
So as of today, in the last 10 years, they have Matthew Stafford, Myles Garrett, and Ty Simpson for 10 years worth of first-round picks.
Yes, but also I would want to look and see who they traded those first-round picks for.
Well, I'm sure a whole mess of them are for Matthew Stafford.
Well,
and then
Trent
obviously
McDuffie was one of them.
Moving forward, next year's will be for Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. One of them was for Trent McDuffie this year. And then, look, that's what they do. They believe in trading first-round picks for proven commodities.
It's just funny to see in 10 years how many times that you see that the Rams did not have a pick, and then the picks that they've used over the last 10 years, it's Jared Goff, who they traded for Matthew Stafford. It's Jared Verse, who they traded for Myles Garrett. Mm-hmm. And then they drafted Ty Simpson this year, and we sat down with him at the draft. And the moment after he was selected by the Rams, he was surprised. We were surprised. We were all surprised. I will say this. Goff to Stafford, upgrade. Verse to Garrett, upgrade.
Yeah.
So the Rams know what they're doing.
Stafford to Ty Simpson, Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer.
No, I think the pattern would be now, who do they trade Ty Simpson to, and who's the upgrade? That's the pattern, right? That's the way it works. Jim Rome and the Jim Rome Show is coming up next right here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.